So let's get into 2026, because Melania, on the date the 426 turns 56, that ties into an 11, and the 47 is an 11. She's at 55. We're on kind of that Back to the Future Part 1 cycle, or going back to the 1955, Make America Great Again and stuff. But we've been seeing some Part 2 playing out, as the so-called Part 2 doesn't necessarily come to everybody at one time, because not everybody goes and sees it at the theater, or you got to wait for the dollar theater where it wraps around the corner and those types of things to see the movie, or you got to wait for the tape, the beta tape or the VHS tape and those things back in the day. So all these things are playing out in layers in our world, and it gets to a certain time when, like, Trump hits 80 years old next year. Elvis hits a 91 marker, which on that sub track is an 8. So that 88 miles an hour, and the DeLorean, as far as Trump equaling 88 and Biff-Tannen based on Trump, and we're there at the casino in a way, and the burn on America as far as Part 2. And then that's going to unfold into our world as far as that literal burn and the Part 2, where everybody takes it home for that blockbuster edition. Okay, so we're in a connection point as far as the 9, the conscious of old time, the begotten son, Biden, the twin 9/11, and the Hall of Mirrors as far as the 11, and the L even, the God, and even, the Eve is the one who gave sight and got them out of the Lord God's grips in Eden, the first hell, the slave nation, and all those types of things is playing out in our world, as Elon is coming out and saying, well, in so many years, work will be optional, and these types of things, as you're going through the Red Sea divide and through the river, or through the Red Sea Moses is taking you in, who controls the serpent snake as well, with the rod, and that rod and the clay and all those things, and the feet are here before us as the Epstein and the proteins and the Don Lemon squeezed lemonade and all those kinds of things are playing out, as that Sodom and Gomorrah and the Grieve Us sin is laying out in America, and that script on the world stage is playing out live in multiple layers that we've been tracking for years. So the 1948 to the 48th presidency, the Orwellian, the Alien, all those types of things are playing out as everything has been set up and the infrastructure is set up to where it just has to be kind of turned on. That's where Don is playing this so-called role of Hitler, while they show you all these other people being Hitler, but he's the one doing the, as far as hard projection, is saying that you can't talk against him. He wants to take Jimmy Kimmel off, which also mentioned the 1049 marker, or I'm sorry, the 1149 marker, when he mentioned his last post and stuff with him. But that's tying into your so-called 49, the 47 to the 49 on one aspect, as far as the 49th presidency, because the shortening of days can come with some vice grips as far as J.D. Vance and those things. But and J.D. Vance has been compared to Lincoln, and then that 1 cent for the Lincoln, and J.D. Vance, all those things are kind of tying around as the wing is broke on the White House, and the flu is coming up, and you got Icarus flying too close to the sun and landing in the sea, and all those types of things lining up. Okay, so the 426 Cobra jets, that most high week of the 420-26, which is the double 420 week, to the most high holiday, or the end of the week of the 429. We tracked this back in 2021 and such, and those are some of the posts that were taken down in the original time frame. But either way, it doesn't matter. The next year, and it being a 2026, the 48 and the 22, and all these little sweet spots we've been tracking on the clock, as the Jet Li is overlaid with the Bruce Lee, and he was born on 4/26/63. He's going to be 63, And the Bruce Lee is 85 years dead, and that's tying into your 2020 COVID, the corona and all that stuff, as that happened when that king spirit of the evils, the Elvis, I can't even do it with the things, but the devil's music and those things, that's going down. And that was 2020 was when that king spirit was 85. So that's where all these clocks are tracking in. Been learning all these things, giving to you as I learn it, and putting it out there so y'all understand as these things are revealed kind of backwards, because I was kind of showing this like sweet spot as far as the 22 to the 26 in the alphabet, and we've been tracking these things through these years, putting these things together as the clocks unfold on the year counts on like 2023, 2024 as far as the clock and stuff. And then you take the clock and shift it depending on, like if you're using a flatter thing, the ones down here. So there's different clock sets as far as the Roman calendar, the Hebrew calendar, the Chinese calendar, the Gregorian calendar. All these things have been tracking and putting together as we are living in seems a time when there's really no end, just new beginnings. Okay, so next year, the 24 on the clock, the Christmas Eve, the 25 on 9/11, the Christmas Day, all those things are overlapping into these little clocks have been tracking to where you're given the Pandora's box, and it's all opened up by 2026, 27, 28. Those are all like some sweet spot years, because that's your XYZs on your 9/11 years and your apprentice years and all those things. So just pass the channel, folks. Doing these things, putting these things out here for y'all so you understand the days and times, because I understand growing up since a teenager, being taught end times, and Bill Clinton coming in, the millennium coming in. Bill Clinton was the so-called antichrist of our generation. Ronald Reagan was the antichrist of his generation, and been told the so-called antichrist of these past generations. We've been given this motion picture, this image given life, the television, the phone home, the sons of God. All of these things are coming into our world, and some of us have the desire to go out and seek these things, while others don't. While we are all the same, we're not all the same. Not all of us have the desire to go and play golf all day, or to do this all day, or whatever. So we have to take the lights that are given here and whatever, and test them and whatever else. So the 48 time frame, 48 Israel, Netanyahu, born in 49, all these things, all these clocks and sequences of the years and the people, and all those things are all interwoven as these spiritual forces and clocks are all coming in as the spiritual and into the carnal, the heaven, the old heaven into the or the new heaven into the earth. As far as that spiritual sequence, that's where we're seeing the King Spirit wrapped around these things. As far as number wise have been tracking, and then it's going into the carnal. That's where you see the Netanyahu, and then you have your internet, you have your Yahoo, and all those types of things. But